These are the pastels we will be using. It's Sennelier's landscape set. They're half sticks, they're extra soft, and we're just going to test them out right now. Inside the box there was a little sample piece of paper so I could create a color chart, which I just did, with all the different pastels so that you can see the true colors. And when I get home, I will take a fixative, and Sennelier recommends their own fixative, which I have used, and it's very nice. It's called Latour, and I will just give it a quick spray just so that I don't lose the colors and have them, smudge off. So they do this card, which is really great. So I can now see all my colors, because in the box themselves, like I've lifted them up, as you can see, I cannot see any numbers or anything. It is on the side of my box, right here, nice and clear. They give you all the colors that are in this set, and they do this with all their sets. However, once you open it, you don't know what's there. And you can see how soft they are because the colors from other ones I've picked up are on it, which is easy enough because you can just wipe that off. You can also clean these. I have a video on YouTube that I can share with you as well. I'll put that in the comments if this is something you're interested in. But they also provide a brochure inside. So this is their brochure, and it will show you and tell you about pastel cards and different papers that they recommend and their fixative, etc. Now you can use pastels on various surfaces, but they recommend pastel card. Pastel card is a drawing surface that's really good for soft pastels or charcoals and graphite. It basically is a card, this is it, and it is created with finely ground pH neutral cork, a natural cork, and it's applied, you can see this is the card part, to a 170-pound card, and it creates a soft sand-like surface. And we're just, in a minute, we're going to do an image on this so you can see how this works. But what's nice is it offers a really unique surface so that you can start drawing, and you don't really even need a lot of fixative for this type of card, and I tend not to use it for this, but because it's very textured, it will take the pigment from the pastels and it will build up in there, and it will allow you to layer colors on top of each other. If I do it straight on a watercolor paper, which I'll show you, just it's not got nearly as much texture, so I can't build up the layers as much, because what will happen is they will just sort of get muddy and start to not absorb inside anymore. Whereas with this type of a card, I will be able to achieve more layers if I desire it. The nice thing, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about Sennelier while I start doing this. Oh, the other thing they have in the package is they will show you this little booklet, which has tells you about the pigments, and it also will tell you about various colors and various products that they carry. So if you like their pastels, you might want to try out some of the others. So that's in the box as well, and that is it. So I am just going to put this underneath, because with pastel, you're going to find you get a lot of the pastel dust, as I like to call it, because they are soft, it's dry and it breaks off. And so what I tend to do, and this is what I did when I did the color chart, is after I finished, I would just tap my color chart onto this page, and you can see I have a lot of pastels here. Now what I will do is I will put this into a little container, and when I get enough of it, I'll actually create a new pastel with it, which will end up being a neutral color because I'm just mixing all the colors. Now, what is best is if you have the setup, when you're working with pastels, it is much better if you can actually work 90 degrees, so it's straight up and down, so any of that dust will fall straight down. And if you can have either a little tray at the bottom of your easel, or you could just take a piece of paper and like sort of, or a paper towel tube, cut it in half, tape that to the bottom, so that when it falls in, you've got a place for all that dust to land. Don't blow it because it's very dangerous. You don't want to get that in your lungs. So that's one of the little cautionary things. It's fine if you're just doing it this way, but if you blow it in the air. The other nice thing is when I'm finished with these for traveling back home, I will put them back into the sponge properly. I've left them this way so it's easier to grab, but I will then just place this foam on it to keep everything in place. But when I get home, I actually have a drawer. Well, I actually have a set of drawers, but I will put them in the drawers, and that way they will all be there and I can just pull them out as I need them. So we're going to test out this pastel card. Just wanted to give you a little information while I'm doing this. These pastels were created by Sennelier in 1904 for the artist Degas. He had requested them, and so even now, the way they were produced in 1904, that's exactly how they make them now. They're an extra soft dry pastel, air dried. They're handmade, they're air dried, and they have a natural binder, which is why you have and they use pure, intense pigments, and so that's why they're expensive, but they are worth it. Because watch as I just go in, and I can just take this on the side and go to the side, and I'm just going to do a light bit, but you can see how I get that and how the texture is just grabbing that beautifully. See how that's in there? Now, I'm not going to blend anything in just yet because I'm actually going to blend some colors and make a sky scene here. So these all, see, you get a little bit off because that texture is really going to grab it. I'm going to go a little bit deeper maybe at the top. Just pushing lightly. So I'm actually going to do the same thing. I'm going to put this here and do the same sort of idea. So I just started with this one, and do you see the difference how it applies? And then I can put this one on top. And it's not even grabbing as well, but it will grab, and you can see I can actually blend this nicely. So, I mean, it's not all lost, but I'm also going to use a little bit more of this blue, pop some of that in here, just in spots. And you can see how this actually can layer nicely. This is what I was talking about. So it's really nice. And then I can actually take my finger and I can go and I can blend on the sandpaper, or I should say sanded paper, but I can kind of get it blend in here right now. I'm doing it in little circles, just seeing how this works. Seems to be moving quite nicely in there. So I have a base to start with. Now, you don't have to blend in. Some people love to blend in, some people don't. It's personal choice, but I've just created that. There's my first layer. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to put some more on there. And I'm just going to go and I'm building it up. And you can see how it's still really grabbing. There. And then I might put some white. I love this white. It's just really creamy. And I'm just going to go ahead, pop some of that in there. And then I'm just going to take a different finger because I don't want the white to be completely blended out. But I'm just going to blend it on the top. So I have a softer cloud on the top. And maybe do it right across here. Blend a bit soft on here. I like that, and I can even go in, make it stronger. So it's just up to you how much you want. I don't want all my clouds to look like they're the same same level. So I'm going to pull some of that down. I'm going to pull that across my baseline here and just blend it back in. Okay. So it's looking a little soft. Now I'm just going to show you here, if I blend this, you'll see how it's a completely different look. Okay, even for the first layer. It's not blending nearly as nice, and it's a bit stronger than on the pastel mat. So I'm going to leave that like that for now. So if I lift it up, you can see. I'm going to be adding more, but I thought it would be interesting if I just start some of the bottom, and then I'm going to put some more pigment into that sky. Actually, I want to go with a little bit this darker right here on the top. The only color I noticed that I'm missing here that I wouldn't mind having is actually a violet. So I'm going to go and take this red and kind of go in there. And I'm going to add a little bit of this blue, just a little, and then I'm going to blend it together and see how that looks. And there we go. We're starting to get a nice violet color sort of in there. I'm working it in. Need a little bit more of the blue. But this is what's so nice. You can blend them. And I have no violets in this set. But as you can see, I've actually now got quite a nice violet there. And I think I'm going to go softer. Pull the pink over about this lighter color. Pull it over a bit. Mix it with a bit of the white, just to make it softer. And then I'm just gonna, now when I'm in my studio, I know I have baby wipes, and that's what I tend to use to clean my fingers in between, so I can keep it moving. And I'm gonna put a little bit of that purple over here, so that means I'm gonna use this color. And I'm just playing a little, see what I get. Okay, I'm just going to. Now, if you are really interested in this, I will teach you all sorts of techniques and stuff and different ways to draw. But I just thought I'm just doing a little demo on their pastel card to see how it works and see if you know, what you think of it and if it's something you like. And you don't have to get this brand. I would recommend other brands as well if you know, are actually interested in doing this. So now I'm just going to start. I'm actually going to put some yellow down. I'm going to do landscape. And I'll put some flowers in the foreground, but I'm going to also, go with a tree. So I quite like that. Maybe put a little bit of orange in there, just because I am going to be adding a little bit of flowery. And a little bit of this color. I'm going to go with some green for the grass area. Now, right now I'm just blocking in some color. I'm also going to put a tree in here. I don't want to do too much. It's a small area, but I do want to get some different blends. And I like the color of the card that I want to use it in this. Now I'm just going to soften this, the colors I've put in, let them blend a little. There we go. I really quite like this pastel card. So that's where I'm gonna stop with that right now, because I'm gonna build up some greenery in the back. So I'm gonna start with it a bit darker. And see, the nice thing with the pastel card, I can actually still be building up over the sky. And I like doing it this way because then you can see the sky showing through. And I might do like bushes for the background. So I'm just gonna do some shrubbery here. Pop that in. And then I'm gonna work myself with some lighter colors coming up. And I might put some blue back here. Actually, I think I want the darker as part of the tree. See, that just looks nice. And I'm just gonna darken the round line sort of, but I'll do it so it's more like shadows under my little shrubs. And I'm gonna go a bit lighter. I'm gonna have the sun coming from the left, so I'm just gonna pop in some varieties of green, just so it doesn't just look like one long line there. Might even put some more bright. You can see how I'm still able to add some color to the layers. And I'm just gonna blend this in a bit. I think I want a little bit of that sky coming back through, so I'm just going to pop some of that pink back in there. There. And I'm just going to lift it, and you'll see I can tap it. Whoops. And you can see what comes off it. And see the intense colors I've got? I really am liking that. So I'm just going to go, and I might do a little bit more yellow. I'm going to do little flowers like this by just turning. And I'm going to do this with some of the different colors. Now, another way of doing it, which actually I really like to do, I'm going to borrow my sister's scissors. Just give me 1 second. Now, normally I would do this with an X-Acto blade, and I would use glassine or wax paper or something, but I'm just going to scrape gently. And I'm actually going to get some of that dust. Pop a little in like that. You can see that. Do a little in the orange. Just a little. I'm not going to go nuts. And maybe I'll put a couple of white flowers in there too. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a sheet of paper. Normally I would do, as I say, with parchment paper would even work. And I'm going to push this on. And I'm just going to rub it in. Notice I'm not moving my paper. And then I'm going to lift it up. And I'll tap her off. And you'll see how it stays nicely. So I look like I have some little flowers there. And then I'm going to put some grasses in there and some stems in there. So I'm just going to break it up a bit. Yeah, because this is a smaller piece, I didn't really want these as big as I've done with the yellows. They'll just look like a bigger flower. So this is kind of an abstract type of, an abstract sort of looking field. It's not, I don't want to draw everything in individually. But these are various techniques I can show you how to do if it's something you're interested in. As I say, just let me know. I'm going to go and do a little bit of a tree trunk in there. Rolling it, just get a bit of a more natural texture. And I can push some of that in. Push it in and tap it. Get the excess off. And then I can pop this in, create some brown for my trunk. Oops, sorry, put that back in there. But I want to put some green back on that because it's, I think I'm going to go with my lighter greens actually. So this will stand out a bit more. And you don't want to push too hard because the nice thing is these are soft, but at the same time you don't want them to fall apart on you. So I'm just going to take that and okay, so I liked it how it was before, but I'm going to spread it out a bit. I'm going to tap that off. And just put some color in there. And just doing some darker color for some shadowing in there. Sharpen up some of my shadows here. And there's a quick little image just to try different techniques on the card. I really love how the dusting of the colors worked. But you can see how I can build up and I can build up. And like I can even go, okay, this is a bit dark. I might want to lighten some of it with white, just subtly like this, subtly. Blend it in there, but it's still adhering to it, you know, but I'm going to put some of it in there and go with my finger a little and try that. But just to give you an idea of the sort of thing you can play with the pastels. And I'm just gonna, you just have to make sure you wipe down all your tools. I'm gonna wipe my fingers down. And I'm just gonna blend in this a little bit, the dark at the top. And pull it down a little just to make it look a little bit more interesting. And I think I want a bit of the darker green. I lost all that, so I'm going to pop that in there, almost like little branches here, and just gently pop some of that in there. And then I'm just going to fade it out. So I'll wipe my finger and I'm going to fade into my sky. And pull it down. So let me know what you think. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I will see you next week. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you would like to see more of my videos. Be sure to ring the bell if you'd like to get notifications when I post new videos. Thank you for watching.